One of the most interesting things about learning is that it has a biology associated with it. And that biology involves a chemical pair. One chemical is oxytocin. Oxytocin can only be released in the body one way, and that's human connection. So when human connection is positive, when we feel a sense of belonging, when we feel safe, this hormone gets released, and it sets up the conditions where we're willing to explore, we're willing to discover, we're willing to experiment. When we don't have that, when instead we feel a sense of stress, a sense of fear, a different hormone gets released, cortisol. And cortisol can just shut us down. It keeps us from feeling that we can take risks on behalf of learning. It makes us worried about embarrassment or blame, but it doesn't let us learn to our fullest. If kids are in a state of fear, they can't mobilize parts of their brain on behalf of concentrating, taking new information in, activating their working memory so that they can play with new ideas. None of this works properly when kids are in a state of fear. All of those processes are shut down. I've had that said to me many times by teachers. I've had teachers say, I don't have time. So the obvious answer, not the most successful, but the obvious answer is you are going to have so much easier a time if everybody in this class is engaged and with you, and you are not dealing with resistance or you are not dealing with opposition. What if I told you that to set up the conditions here for engagement is going to require very, very few things, but if you do them, you'll have this class with you. So let me tell you what they are. But the most important thing is to make it easy for teachers and to recognize empathically that they actually don't have time. But in their training, and this is the majority of teachers, most teachers never learn that putting the mind into an engaged and motivated state is going to save them time. So then you're trying to do it while they are teaching, and of course, they are too busy to take a lot of this new stuff in. But you have to do it, you have to learn the why, and you have to have some tools to make it easier. One of the things that I think most adults have a hard time believing is that one person, and sometimes even one interaction in a young person's life, can change the trajectory of their lives. I have stories where kids I worked with who came from highly traumatic homes would pull out a letter that a camp counselor wrote them 5 years earlier about the meaning of what they demonstrated during camp. And they would open this dog-eared letter, a counselor they hadn't seen in 5 years. But this letter was something they were holding on to hold on to the belief, the feeling of having an adult believe in them. I've had these experiences with kids over and over again. So this whole notion that we don't have to take the moment with a young person and make it matter every single time we possibly can, because somehow or other there are forces that are going to cancel it out. It's the opposite that's true. If all of us were to take those moments and make them mean something, we would create a protective, safe environment where a kid felt connected to another human being for every kid that we are exposed to. There's no good reason not to do that. It's the single most powerful thing any of us as adults can do with any young person. And it doesn't take a lifetime to achieve that. It can be simple, smaller interactions with kids that aggregate up into something wonderful.